Peace, peace, Black family. So thank you for joining me on yet another episode of an in-depth analysis. And y'all already know what we do here, so let's get into it. Unfortunately, Donald Trump has canceled all flights going to and from the continent of Africa. I'm sorry? Excuse me? It wasn't Africa? Oh, it was Europe. Oh, too time for those shithole African countries who are not having a huge outbreak of the coronavirus, considering that they are shithole countries. Let's check out the footage.
Today, the World Health Organization officially announced that this is a global pandemic. We have been in frequent contact with our allies, and we are marshaling the full power of the federal government and the private sector to protect the American people. After consulting with our top government health professionals, I have decided to take several strong but necessary actions to protect the health and well-being of all Americans. To keep new cases from entering our shores, we will be suspending all travel from Europe to the United States for the next 30 days. The new rules will go into effect Friday at midnight. These restrictions will be adjusted subject to conditions on the ground. There will be exemptions for Americans who have undergone appropriate screenings, and these prohibitions will not only apply to the tremendous amount of trade and cargo, but various other things as we get approval. Anything coming from Europe to the United States is what we are discussing. These restrictions will also not apply to the United Kingdom. At the same time, we are monitoring the situation in China and South Korea, and as their situation improves, we will reevaluate the restrictions and warnings that are currently in place for a possible early opening.
And so this is what I foresee from this situation. Because as African peoples, we don't understand right now, Europeans are in a state of emergency. Because this virus is primarily affecting them. Not saying that it cannot affect Africans, but for the most part, it has been affecting Europeans and people who have a high level of European blood, meaning mixed race people. And this is what Dr. Amos Wilson says when he says we must prepare for the downfall of white supremacy, of white privilege, of white rulership. Because if we were, as a nation or as a world, to go into the state of emergency where every man must defend themselves, every man must go into their animalistic instincts, African people will be in trouble. Dr. Amos Wilson says there is no law, no universal law that says that things must get better. As African people, we constantly think, well, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. John Henry Clark says, if you start your history as slavery, then everything else looks like progress. And that's the mentality that we have, that we think that things must get better. That's not necessarily true. And so if Europeans fall tomorrow, Africans globally are in trouble because that leaves us open to Arab supremacy, to Asian supremacy, or even a worse type of white supremacy, because as their numbers drop and drop and drop, they will fear the overtaking, because that's what racism is about anyway. It's that genetic annihilation that they fear, that Dr. Francis Cress Welsing has been telling us about for years. Bless that ancestor. It's that genetic annihilation that they fear, and they will do anything to maintain white dominance. So African people will be in trouble. African people globally will be in trouble. In trouble. Because guess what? Just like in the movie Purge, I think it was Purge, The Last Day or The Last Purge or something like that. You know what Negroes were doing? They were having purge parties, if you haven't seen the movie. And that's the Negro mentality. Oh, things are going to get better. I'm still going to go to the club. Things are going to get better. Oh, that's just affecting white folk. We got black people celebrating. the downcline of white births, of white people, right? And not properly preparing for the day that there are no more white people on the planet. How idiotic is that? How idiotic is that? And see, with the idea that things always get better, we don't understand that there are ethnic groups no longer on this planet. Like the Tasmanians, for example. There are not one living ethnic Tasmanian alive. They were systematically wiped out. Wiped out. Wiped out. But again, if we're not careful with this coronavirus, even though it's not attacking us, we too can be wiped out. Because we're not properly planning, preparing, and strategizing for the future, for what might come out of this. That's our biggest problem. There's an old proverb that says either you plan for tomorrow or you plan to fail for today or something like that. But y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know the proverb I'm talking about. Plan for today or plan to fail. I think that's how the proverb goes. And that's what took place in Black Wall Street. Study Black Wall Street. The people in Black Wall Street, the first day they were being attacked, they didn't have any weapons. They were being attacked. They were being shot. They were being killed. Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma. They were being killed. They were being attacked. They waited until the second day to try to go get firearms to get guns. Instead of having guns relatively available for themselves, they waited until they were being attacked. And then they tried to go to different neighboring states like Texas and stuff like that. And Oklahoma already put a word out, don't give the Negroes any guns. So they can't defend themselves. Because instead of planning and just what we call, that's what insurance is. Just in case some shit happen. Just in case. But we got black people who want to wait to the last minute for everything. We don't want to be a just in case type of people. We don't want to have a plan B. Shit, we don't even want to have a plan A. We don't even want to have a plan A. How organized are we? Are we in contact with the continent? Are we in contact with people in different states? You live in New York. Are you in contact with brothers and sisters who are like-minded like you in Pennsylvania or in West Virginia? Are we connected? Our whole total existence is based off of white handouts, white empathy. So if this coronavirus hits the United States the way I think it's going to hit the United States, now I could be wrong. If it hits the United States and causes a pandemic and they go into some form of martial law or, anything could happen. These white supremacists who have been waiting for something like this to take place, they can easily notice that the government is weak and then overthrow the government. This can happen. These white supremacists can say, hey, this is the perfect time for the South to rise again. The South shall rise again. The government's weak. They're dealing with this pandemic. They're scrambling. People are not listening to the police. Let's overthrow the government. Let's become a new government. Hardcore white supremacists, white nationalists can do that because they're from state to state. They're locked in. Matter of fact, they're so locked in, they're locked in the UK, in Russia. They have organizations. They have groups. They're locked in. This isn't a joke. I know a lot of people feel like this is entertainment. This is real life here. We're talking about survival. We're talking about survival. It will be nothing for this virus to hit the United States, throw this country into a panic, and turn around and have these white supremacists overthrow the government, and then black people are basically, as they say in Haitian terms, ou fini, you done. Et puis that's it. Who you going to run to? Where you going to run to? But we don't like to think that far ahead. We think that it's always going to get better. prepare for today so we can succeed for tomorrow. Let this be a warning. If this just passes and the coronavirus doesn't even affect the United States the way it's estimated to do so, let this be a warning to you that you need to get prepared, that you need to be on point, that you need to not wait till the last minute for a natural disaster or something to happen for you to get ready. If it doesn't happen, let this be your warning. Let this be a whew, we escaped that one. Now it's time to get prepared. Until next time, family, share this video because this video is very important. Send it to your friends in their DM. Tag them on it. It's very important. Because I'm pretty sure we have a lot of black people who think that Jesus Christ is going to come down on a cloud and save them and stop all this shenanigans. I'm pretty sure a lot of black people think that Allah is going to, come up from, I'm pretty sure of it. Their mindsets are gone. But we need to deal with what's really taking place right here and right now. Until next time, family, think black, stay black, love black, support black, and that's real African black power.